Hello everyone, welcome to Defense IAS Academy. Let us move towards the topic. Our topic is security market in India. This is a very much interesting topic and a very much gaining for the knowledge. It gives a lot of knowledge to us. Let us move towards it. What's the definition of this? The segment of a financial market of an economy from long-term capital is raised where instruments such as shares, securities, bonds, debentures, mutual funds and is known as the security market of that economy. Let us move further towards the next topic, that is the primary and secondary markets. Every security market has two complementary markets. First one is the primary and second one is the secondary. First, the market in which the instruments of security market are traded or procured directly between the capital raiser and the investment purchaser is known as the primary market. As for example, a share being directly purchased by anybody from the issuer, which may be company itself, the person is known as the primary shareholder. Second, the market where the instruments of security market are traded among the primary instrument holders is known as the secondary market. Such transactions, keep it in mind, such transactions need an institutionalized floor for their trading, which is made available by the stock exchanges. Now, our next topic is stock exchange. A physically existing institutionalized setup where instruments of security stock market, that is shares, bonds, debentures, securities, etc. are traded. It serves the following major functions. Makes a floor available to the buyers and sellers of stocks and liquidity comes to the stocks. It is the single most important institution in the secondary market for securities. Second, makes available the prices of trading as an important piece of information to the investors. Third, by following institutionalized rules and procedures, it ensures that the participants in the stock market live up to their commitments. Fourth, passes updated information to the enlisted companies about their present stockholders, or we can say so that they can pass on dividends etc. to them. Fifth, by publishing its index, it fulfills the purpose of projecting the moods of the stock market. Let us move further. Further is the NSE, or we can say, or we may call it as National Stock Exchange. The National Stock Exchange of India that Limited was set up in 1992 and became operationalized in 1994. The sponsors of the exchange are financial institutions including IDBI, LIC and GIC, with IDBI as the promoters. It has a 50 share index and a 500 share index known as S&P CNX 50 means Nifty 50 and S&P CNX, that is 500 respectively. Further is OTCEI. OTCEI stands for Over-the-Counter Exchange of India. Though the Over-the-Counter Exchange of India Limited was set up in 1989, it could commence trading only in 1992. India's first fully computerized stock exchange were promoted by the UTI, ICICI, SBI, CAP among others, in order to overcome problems such as lack of transparency and delays in settlements prevalent in the older stock exchanges. Another important goal of the stock exchange was to allow stock market exposure to comparatively smaller companies. Or we can add on with this, companies with paid up capital from rupees 30 lakh to rupees 25 crore are enlisted here. Trading in this exchange takes place where market makers and commission is fixed. Further is ISE, which means interconnected stock exchange. The interconnected stock exchange of India is basically a single floor of India's 15 regional stock exchanges. Set up in 1998, the RSEs means the regional stock exchanges were provided increased reach through this. It is a web-based exchange. Further is the BSE, means Bombay Stock Exchange. The Bombay Stock Exchange Limited, earlier a regional stock exchange, converted into a national one in 2001. The biggest in India, it accounts for almost 75% of total stocks traded in India and is the fifth largest in the world. On the basis of market capitalization, there are at present 4 indices connected with the BSE. Let us move further. Next is Indonext. A new stock exchange to promote liquidity to the stocks of the small enterprises was launched in 2005. Jointly and medium, the BSE and FISE representing 18 regional stock exchanges. The common features of these exchanges are: first one is all are situated in Mumbai. Second, all do screen-based trading. Third, all have their trading terminals in the major cities of the country. Fourth, all are web-enabled. Fifth, all are limited liability companies. Sixth, the brokers registered here have no say in either the ownership or the management of the exchanges. Seventh, all are counted among the best and the most technology-equipped stock exchanges in the world. Next topic under this concept, the security market in India, is players in the stock exchanges. First one is the broker. Broker is a registered member of a stock exchange who buys or sells shares or securities on his client's behalf and charges a commission on the gross value of the deal. Such brokers are also known as commission brokers. Brokers who offer services such as investment advice, client's portfolio planning, credit when a client is buying on margin other than their traditional commission job are known as full service brokers. In India, such brokers are just coming up. Next is the jobber. A jobber is a broker's broker or one who specializes in specific security catering to the need of other brokers. In India or in the BSE, a jobber is located at a particular trading post on the floor of the stock exchange and does buying and selling for some price differences, called the spread. He has no contact with the investing public. In the public stock exchange, he is called a market maker, while in the New York Stock Exchange, he is called a specialist. The Bombay Stock Exchange has made it mandatory for every company with a share capital of over rupees 3 crore to appoint jobbers or the market makers if it seeks enlistment. Such an arrangement enables investors to buy and sell shares on the stock exchange and thus liquidity increases. Next is the market maker. We had used a word market maker in the topic of jobber. Now I am going to explain the meaning of market maker. Functions as an intermediary in the market ready to buy and sell securities. He simultaneously quotes two-way rates like a jobber, basically with only the difference that he quotes two-way rates for buying and selling at the same time. On the floor of India's OTCEI, only market makers are allowed to play. In the money market of India, the Discount and Finance House of India is the chief market maker. Since he quotes the selling price while buying a particular share, he makes market for that share, hence such a name. The Nasdaq of the USA is a market maker's stock exchange where they are connected by the web-enabled trading terminals. Let us move further. SEBI, the regulator of Indian stock market, set up under the Security and Exchange Board of India Act, that 1992, as a non-statutory body set on April 12, 1988 through a government resolution in an effort to give the Indian stock market an organized structure with its head office in Mumbai. Its initial paid-up capital was rupees 30 crore provided by the promoters, the IDBI, the IFCI and the ICICI. The board of SEBI comprises 9 members excluding the chairman, 1 member each from the Ministers of Finance and Law, 1 member from the RBI and 2 other members appointed by the central government. It has 4 full-time members including the chairman. Next topic is the commodity trading. Commodity trading happens similar to stocks, that is stocks, shares, securities, debentures and bonds. Trading in the stock market. However, commodities are actual physical goods such as corn, silver, gold, crude oil, etc. Futures are contracts for commodities that are traded at a futures exchange like the Chicago Board of Trade. Futures contracts have expanded beyond just commodities. Now there are futures contracts on financial markets like foreign currencies, interest rates, etc. Further under this is the FMC, which means Forward Market Commission. The FMC is a statutory body set up under the Forward Contracts Regulation Act 1952. It functions under the administrative control of the Department of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. In 2014, the commission was transferred to the Ministry of Finance. Headquartered at Mumbai with 1 regional office at Kolkata, the commission comprises a chairman and 2 members. The commission provides regulatory oversight. Next is the spot exchanges. In India, spot exchanges refer to electronic trading platforms which facilitate purchase and sale of specified commodities including agricultural commodities, metal and bullion by providing spot delivery contracts in these commodities. This market segment functions like the equity segment in the main market exchanges. Alternatively, this can be considered as a guaranteed direct marketing by sellers of the commodities. Spot exchanges leverage on the latest technology available in the stock exchange framework for the trading of goods. This is an innovative Indian experiment in the trading of goods and is distinct from what is commonly known as commodity exchanges, which trade in future contracts and commodities. Further is the raising capital in the primary market. There are 3 ways in which a company raises capital in the primary market. One is the public issue, second one is the right issue, third one is the private placement. Let us go in brief with this topic. First one is the public issue. A public offer is open for all Indian citizens, the most broad-based method of raising capital and the most prestigious too. The Reliance Industries Limited is the biggest company of India in this category. Second is the rights issue. Raising capital from the existing shareholders of a company, it means it is a preferential kind of issue restricted to a certain category of the public only. Next is the private placement. Raising capital by selling shares to a select group of investors, usually financial institutions, but may be to individuals also. This is done through a process of direct negotiations, completely opposite to the public issue. The advantage of this rule is the substantial saving a share issuing company makes on marketing expenses. But the risk of shifting loyalties of the investors in this route is also the highest. Recent times have seen such capital raising by many companies. Let us move further with this topic only. Privately placing their shares to the foreign institutional investors as a route to source foreign exchange in India, and that too quickly. I have some of the important terms of stock market. Let us discuss those. First one is the scrip share. A share given to the existing shareholders without any charge, also known as bonus share. Next is the sweat share. A share given to the employees of the company without any charge. Rolling settlement. An important reform measure started in the Indian stock market in mid-2001, under which all commitments of sale and purchase result into payment or delivery at the time of X days later, where X stands for 5 days. some shares have X as 1, 2 or 3 days too. Today all shares are covered under this provision. Next is the Badla. When the buyers want postponement of the transaction in Western world, it is known as contango. Next is the Unda Badla. When the sellers want postponement of the transaction, it is also known as the reverse Badla or backwardation. Next is the futures. A trading allowed in shares where a future price is quoted for the shares and the payment and delivery takes place on the predetermined date. Next is the depositors. Started in 1996, under which stocks are converted into paperless form, means dematerialization of shares, shortly known as the DMAT. At present, two public sector depositories, means Mumbai, are functioning in India, set up under the Depositories Act 1996. Let us move further. Next is the spread. The difference between the buying and selling prices of a share is called spread. Higher the liquidity of a share, lower its spread, and vice versa. Also known as jobber's turn or margin or haircut. Let us move further, that is curb dealings. The transaction of stocks which take place outside the stock exchanges unofficially and take place after the normal trading hours. Next is the NSCC, the National Securities Clearing Corporation. It is a public sector company set up in the 1996, takes the counterparty risk of all transactions done at the NSE, just as an intermediary guarantees all trades. Next is the demutualization. A process started by SEBI under which ownership, management and trading membership was to be segregated from each other. No broker was to be on the board of directors or an officer bearer in the stock exchange. This has been done in the case of all stock exchanges except 3 regional stock exchanges in India. Next is the authorized capital, the limits up to which shares can be issued by a company, also known as the nominal or registered capital. This is fixed in the Memorandum of Association and the Article of Association of a company as required by the Companies Act law. Next is the paid up capital, the part of the authorized capital of a company that has actually been paid by shareholders. A difference may arise because of all shares authorized might not be issued or issued shares are only partly paid up. Let us move further. Further is the subscribed capital, the amount actually paid by the shareholders or have been committed by them for contribution. Next is the issued capital, the amount which is sought by a company to raise by issuing shares which cannot exceed the authorized capital of the company. Next is the green shoe option, a provision under which a company issuing shares for the first time is allowed to sell some additional shares to the public, usually 15%. It is also known as over-allotment provision. It gets its name from the first company which was allowed such an option. Next is the penny stocks, the share which remains low priced at a stock exchange for a comparatively longer period. Speculators may start hoarding them for hefty margin. This was seen in India in mid-2006 and since such stocks get hoarded, ultimately their market price increases. The speculators earn profit after offloading, means selling these shares at high prices, and others who purchase these shares ultimately might fetch huge losses because price rise of these stocks are unintentional or each intentional manipulation and nothing else. Next is the ESOP, means Employee Stock Ownership Plan. Enables a foreign company to offer its shares to employees overseas. It was allowed in India provided that the MNC has minimum 51% holding in its Indian company. Earlier, a permission from the RBI was required for such an option. Let us move further towards the other topic under this concept is SBT, means screen-based trading. It is the trading of stock based on the electronic medium, that is with the help of computer monitor, internet, etc. First such trading was introduced in New York in 1972 by the bond broker Cantor Fitzgerald. India announced it in 1989 at the OTCEI. Now it is carried out at all exchanges. Further is the OFCDs. That means optionally fully convertible debentures. We can say debentures are the debt instruments which may be issued by a listed or non-listed firm to raise funds in a security market. They are of many types, which we can say redeemable, non-redeemable, partially convertible or fully convertible. In case of fully convertible debentures, an option, that is why the name OFCDs, that is optionally fully convertible debentures, is given to the debenture holders who may wish to convert their OFCDs into shares after expiry of the period fixed by the debenture issuing firm, known as lock-in period. Further is the shares at par and at premium. Let us study these shares at par and at premium. An ordinary share in India in general is said to have a par value or face value of rupees 10, though some shares issued earlier still carry a par value of rupees 100. Par value implies the value at which a share is originally recorded in the balance sheet as equity capital. This is the same as ordinary share capital. SEBI guidelines for public issues by new companies established by the individual promoters and entrepreneurs require all companies to offer their shares to the public at par, that is at rupees 10. However, a new company set up by existing companies and of course existing companies themselves with a track record of at least 5 years of consistent profitability are allowed to share premiums issue shares at a premium. Let us move further. Next topic is the foreign financial investors. Though through the portfolio investment scheme, the foreign financial investors were allowed to invest in this Indian stock market, the FILS means having good track record registered with SEBI as brokers. It make investments in markets on the basis of their perceptions of expected returns from such markets. New rules for foreign investment. To promote the flow of foreign funds into the economy, the RBI on January 24, 2013 further liberalized the provisions of investment in India's security market. First is the FIISAN long-term investors investment limit in government securities G sections enhanced by $5 billion to $25 billion. Second is the investment limit in corporate bonds by above given entities enhanced by $5 billion to $50 billion. Third is the RBI also relaxed some investment rules by removing the maturity restrictions for first time foreign investments on dated G sections. Earlier, a 3-year residual maturity was must for first time in foreign investors, but such investment will not be allowed in short-term paper like treasury bills. Fourth is the foreign investors restricted from investing in the money market instruments, certificates of deposits and the commercial paper. Fifth is in the total corporate debt limit of $50 billion, a sublimit of $25 billion each for infrastructure and other than infrastructure sector bonds have been fixed. Sixth, rules requiring FIIs to hold infrastructure debt for at least 1 year has been abolished. Seventh, the qualified foreign investors would continue to be eligible to invest in corporate debt securities without any lock-in or residual maturity clause, and mutual fund debt schemes subject to a total overall ceiling of $1 billion. This limit of $1 billion shall continue to be over and above the revised limit of $50 billion for investment in corporate debt. 8. As a measure of further relaxation, it has been decided to dispense with the condition of 1 year lock-in period for the limit of $22 billion, comprising the limits of infrastructure bonds of $12 billion and $10 billion for non-resident investment in IDFS, within the overall limit of $25 billion for foreign investment in infrastructure corporate bond. 9th and the last one, the residual maturity period at the time of first purchase requirement for the entire limit of $22 billion for foreign investment in the infrastructure sector has been uniformly kept at 15 months. The 5-year residual maturity requirement for investment by QFIS within the $3 billion limit has been modified to 3 years original maturity. Let us move further towards the angel investor. A new term in India's financial market introduced in the Union Budget 2003 and 14, which announced that SEBI will soon prescribe the provisions by which the angel investor. The angel investor is an investor who provides financial backing to entrepreneurs for starting their business. Angel investors are usually found among entrepreneurs, families, friends, but they may be from outside also. Next is the participatory notes. A participatory note is in the Indian context, in a sense, is a derivative instrument issued in foreign jurisdictions by a SEBI registered foreign institutional investor against Indian securities. The Indian security instrument may be equity, debt, derivatives, or may be even an index. PNs means participatory notes, are also known as overseas derivative instruments, equity linked notes, capped return notes, and the participating return notes, etc. Let us move further towards the another topic, that is short selling. Sale of a share which is not owned. This is done by someone after borrowing shares from the stake brokers, promising to replace them at a future date on the hope or speculation that the price will fall by then. He fetches profit if price of the share really fell down by the future date of replacement, and sustains a loss if the price increased. Recently, short selling has been allowed in India by SEBI. Further under this is bear and bull. We are having some of the tools which we are going to understand. That is, a person who speculates shares prices to fall in future and so sells his shares and earn profits in a bear. He earns profit out of a falling market. Basically, he is short selling the shares. Opposite to bear, bull is a person who speculates share price to go up in future, or so either stop selling these select group of shares for that time to be reached. He is basically taking long position on those shares or starts purchasing that select group of shares. Next is the book building. A provision allowed by SEBI to an initial public offers or IPOs in which individual investors are reserved and allotted by shares by the company. But the issuer has to disclose the price at which shares have been allotted, the size of the issue, and the number of shares offered to the public. Next is the IPO. IPO stands for Initial Public Offer. It is an event of share issuing when a company comes up with its shares or securities issued for the first time. Next is the price band. A process of public issue where the company gives a price range known as price band, and it is left upon the share applicants to quote their prices on it. The highest bidders getting the shares. This is a variant of share issue at premium but is considered a safer choice. Let us move further. Next topic is the securitization. This is the process of issuing marketable securities backed by a pool of existing assets such as auto or home loans. After an asset is converted into a marketable security, it is sold to an investor who then receives interest and principal out of the cash flow generated from servicing of the loan. Financial institutions such as NBFCs and microfinance companies convert their loans into marketable securities and sell them to investors. This helps them to get liquid cash out of assets that otherwise would be stuck on their balance sheets. Next topic is the corporate bond in India. Economic vibrancy coupled with sophisticated state-of-the-art financial infrastructure has contributed to rapid growth in the equity market of India. In terms of market features and depth, the Indian equity market ranks among the best in the world. In parallel, the government securities market has also evolved over the years and expanded given the increasing borrowing requirements of the government. In contrast, the corporate bond market has languished both in terms of market participation and structure. NBCs are the main issuers and very small amounts of finance are raised by companies directly. Next is the inflation, or we may call it as indexed bonds. To protect the returns of investors from the vagaries of inflation, the Reserve Bank of India plans to introduce inflation-indexed bonds. It was proposed by the Union Budget 2013 and 14. The government hopes that this will help increase financial savings instead of buying gold. In the recent years, the rate of return on debt investments has often been below inflation, which effectively means that inflation was eroding savings. Inflation index bonds provide returns that are always in excess of inflation, ensuring that price rise does not erode the value of savings. Let us move further. Next is the gold exchange traded funds. Gold exchange traded funds are open-ended mutual fund schemes that closely track the price of physical gold. Each unit represents 1 gram of gold having 0.995 purity, and the ETF is listed on stock exchanges. The net asset value of each unit is calculated based on the prices of physical gold prevailing on that day and is designed to provide returns that would closely track the returns from physical gold. Next is the e-gold. E-gold is another purchase option involving investments in units traded on the National Stock Exchange. Here, the investor is required to have a demat account with an affiliate of NSEL. E-gold's brokerage and transaction charges are lower than the e-gold ETFs. Are there no fund management charges? One can take delivery of gold or sell it in the exchange. Next is the pension sector reforms. Pension has been the integral part of government jobs in India. Pension serves two important socio-economic objectives. First one is it facilitates the flow of long-term savings for development, that is national building, and second, also helps establish a credible and sustainable social security system in the country. Next and the last topic under this concept is Real Estate Infrastructure Investment Trust. The SEBI formed up regulations that will govern real estate investment trust and the infrastructure investment trust. The long pending proposal of 2008, the trusts have the objective of enabling the cash-strapped real estate and infrastructure developers to have easy access to funds. They create a new investment avenue for institutions and high net worth individuals and eventually ordinary investors. This is all about the concept of security market in India. If you like, please subscribe. Thank you.